Which one?
UCC Church at the Congregational Church.
Oh, okay, kind of up there, and I know where you are.
And
Radiance
in
Drive.
High Point, I don't
I wonder where that idea originated.
Emmanuel Lutheran in High Point.
Yeah.
And in Winston-Salem, there's Trinity something.
Good.
And we had a packed house, good crowds, and the new director for this choir is graduate of the same program that Colin went to.
We visited.
What's his name?
Christian,
Is it still functioning?
don't remember his last name.
Still functioning?
I'm just bad with names.
No, that's right. Yeah, I know the guy who used to direct.
Yeah,
Woody.
this is somebody new. And he's flamboyant? No, that's not really the right word. His directing is so enthusiastic. It's infectious. And he gets really, there's a lot of us. I think the combined players is over 50.
Really?
But he gets really good sound all the time. It's just great.
Hey, what, you don't have to tell me the program we just started, but what style?
Some Broadway, some folk, some popular.
You said you
That
were
sort of thing. We
Harry
did.
Potter last night.
Oh yeah, I saw them. We did. You Could Drive a Person Crazy.
I don't know show tunes at all.
Advertised to have price tickets.
Some funny, some deeply moving, and just all of that. We did a piece called Landscapes that is Mary Had a Little Lamb in the style of composer Suzanne Vaulted. And you see Mary Had a Little Lamb, following Scarlet.
Okay.
We plan on eating the lamb.
Will you rise in body or in spirit for our gathering hymn number 34, Though I May Speak with Bravest Fire?
My name is Leah Smith, and I'm a member of this congregation. Alexa and Cara will light our chalice. Please join me in our chalice lighting words found in your order of service. We light this chalice, symbol of our Unitarian Universalist faith, to remind us to connect in spirituality, service, to care for each other and the world, and to create loving community.
Well, it's a picture of a path and then like a little path next to it on the screen that you can't see. Does anybody know what this is? Who read the news? Mary read the newsletter. What is it? Yes. This is called a desire path. That little path that is obviously not the built trail. Okay, so a desire path, referred to as a desire line in transportation planning, is also known as a game trail, a social trail, fisherman trail, herd path, cow path, elephant path, buffalo trace, goat track, pig trail, use trail, and bootleg trail. It's an unplanned, small trail created as a consequence of mechanical erosion caused by animal or human traffic. This path often represents the shortest or most easily navigated route between an origin and a destination. The width and severity of the surface erosion are indicators of the traffic level it receives. Sometimes, these desire paths are so popular that they actually get integrated into the built environment, as I hope you can see in this picture. What do you see? What's going on in this picture? Yeah, so there's a sidewalk and then the diagonal path, and then they're putting in a sidewalk where that path is. My colleague Joan, a minister in Montpelier, Vermont, recalls that at the front of the public library, there were these two diagonally trod paths from the sidewalk straight up to the big stone steps. And the library put up signs that were like, use the path, use the thing we already made, do it. and people didn't. And so the next thing she knew, those paths were paved. And they just were like, all right, fine. You guys can go on that, I guess. And they made them into the real paths that lead up to the library steps. Have you ever seen anything like this? Can you think of any desire paths in your neighborhood, at your school? Yeah. Where? What did it look like? UUCG. College campuses. Uh-huh. Where else? Country Park? Yeah. Do you say in the swamp? Through a swamp. Through a swamp? In the woods. In the woods, yeah. So sometimes these desire paths are not so helpful. I have another colleague who used to build hiking trails, and they built a lot of switchbacks, so paths that go up like this, up a mountain, and cutting through them leads to more and more erosion of the natural surface and damage to the mountainside and the plants and the animals and the earth. So these switchbacks are built purposefully to forestall erosion, to minimize destructive human impact. And so the desire paths down these switchbacks are actually quite unhelpful and quite destructive. And they put up all manner of signs, please stay on the path. Oh my God, please. And sometimes people listen and sometimes they don't. Now, some planners have gotten wise to desire paths. Phyllis, you said college campuses. Yeah. This is a picture of Michigan State University. That's a picture of Michigan State University. So according to an article in The Guardian, the planners didn't actually put in any paved paths when they built new buildings. First, they waited to see where people would walk. Then they paved those. So if you followed me through this very real discussion of where we walk and where we don't, and also an extended metaphor for living your life, which of our natural inclinations, our habits, and our tendencies and preferences outside the built environment, outside the paths laid out for us, are healthy for us and for the world around us? And which ones are destructive? And how do we know? I've heard some people describe our faith in a new way that I think is very efficient. They're just saying, UUs put love at the center. So that might be a helpful way to consider this question, how to act in the most loving way to oneself and to the natural world, to other people, to the environment around us, especially assuming that the paths that are built for us already are not always laid out in the most loving way. And sometimes it is necessary to depart from them. Welcome to worship at the Unitarian Universalist Church of Greensboro, where we trust our desires and we put love at the center of what we do and how we live. I'm the Reverend Sadie Lansdale, and I'm the minister of this congregation. Unitarian Universalists believe that all people have a trustworthy relationship with the Spirit, with the Holy, with the source of all life, with what some call God, though we name it and know it differently from one another. And we believe that because we're interconnected, no one's free until we all are free. So we strive to create beloved community here on earth in our fellowship with one another and in our work for justice. Whether today is your first or your 1,000th Sunday in our midst, we are stronger because you are here. We are one people of many beliefs, many origins, sexualities, and genders. We're all growing, all learning, and all loved. Our ministry team here at UUCG is Cindy Dillard, our Director of Children's and Youth Ministry, Colin McCrae, our Director of Music, both of whom are on a well-deserved vacation, so don't text them, and we'll say thank you so much when they come back. Julie Hamilton, our Congregational Administrator, and me. We're thrilled this morning to have our very own Larry Porter on piano. Please take this time to turn your phones off so we can hear the beautiful music.
A covenant contains the promises we make to one another in response to the great gift of living, holding ourselves to these holy aspirations. Will you join me in our church covenant? We, the members of the Unitarian Universalist Church of Greensboro, do covenant to promote a search for personal meaning, respecting the individual truth in a community process of quest. Speak and act with caring, courtesy, and love, thereby maintaining emotional, physical, and spiritual safety for all. Support UUCG and denominational efforts with our resources and justice while promoting equality. Nurture our children on their spiritual journey. Hold ourselves to this covenant, especially during times of conflict and disagreement. Please join in our opening hymn, number 126, in your gray hymnal, Come Thou Fount of Every Blessing. If you're joining us in the sanctuary, won't you wave hello to everyone joining us online? If you're online, go ahead and introduce yourselves in the chat. If you're in person, let's greet our neighbors.
We have another monitor?
We should. Oh, okay. That's good. What are you talking about? Where you go, I will go, beloved. Where you go, I will go. Where you go, I will go, beloved. Where you go, I will go. For your people are my people. Your people are mine. Your people are my people. You're divine, my divine. Where you go, I will go, beloved. Where you go, I will go. Where you go, I will go, beloved. Where you go, I will go. For your people are my people. Your people are mine. Your people are my people. You're divine, my divine. How beautiful it is to be together. We gather in gratitude this morning, turning our hearts to thanks and praise for the gift of living, in the presence of the Spirit that animates all life, and in the knowledge that we are truly connected to all that is, all that has been, and all that will be. During these few minutes of silence, you can focus on something you're grateful for, someone you are remembering especially today, or just the sensation of your chair supporting you. So will you find the most comfortable place in your seat and take a few easy breaths at your own pace as we settle into our silence together. We bring the echoes in our hearts before our community and before the holy in this sacred space and time. If you're online, this is your time to share your joys and sorrows with one another in the chat. And if you're in person and you have a milestone you'd like added to our prayers, fill out a yellow card which the ushers will collect from you. If there's a joy on your heart, place one of these beautiful hydrangeas from our grounds in the vase. And if a sorrow, place a stone in the bowl. You can light a candle of prayer and presence for someone you're holding close to you. And if you're not sure how you're feeling, or maybe you're a little fidgety, there are pipe cleaners in the back, mandalas to color. Yeah. Or you may have brought your own needlework, which you should feel free to do. In church, we practice becoming more fully human together. This is our time to take stock of how we arrive here and to take what we need, knowing the table is set for us all. Will you join me in prayer and presence? We name aloud or in the chat those people on our hearts, living or dead, near or far, that this community might hold them in love. Held by silence and song, we offer our joys and sorrows alike, knowing they are woven fine. Shavanta Keeker says, please pray for parents of school-aged children. School is out. We need your prayers of love, patience, and grace. So thankful we don't have balls of golden string from our story last week where you can just fast forward time. Shavanta, prayers of love, patience, and grace for you and for all of us. James and Samantha Reese have a joy. James's shift is now Monday through Friday permanently. We're on the same shift for the first time in our whole marriage. Prayers of joy and gratitude are with you. Bobby Goodrich says, I have officially graduated from residency after 5 years. I'm looking forward to a few months off before starting the next phase. At Wake, we're not going anywhere. Okay. And to my wedding celebration with Sadie, friends, and family in July. Also, my mom is here. So we will accept all of your prayers of joy and gratitude and also relief. Joanna Lauer says, thank you to Jennifer Fitzgerald for leading the RE cleanup day yesterday. And our prayers of joy and gratitude are with you, Jennifer, and all those who pitch in to raise our kids and make a safe space for them. Rebecca Elliott and Oscar Kay are so grateful to celebrate Michael's 50th birthday on Thursday. So glad you were born, even if you did not prevail in the lip sync battle at Drag Bingo. To all, there is birthday cake in the lobby after service. Michael, we are so grateful for your life and your presence in this community. Kate Katahdin says, my daughter Sonia graduated this week from high school and will fly to be with her brother in Oregon. Our prayers are with you, Kate, and with her. Linda Sullivan shares a joy that Ken Knight is back at Carolina Estates for a healing period of time. We are joyful that he is safely and lovingly housed in his recovery. Prayers of joy for you, Ken, and prayers for your continued healing. Susan Andrietta says, my great joy to be here with you and walking with my new knee. Woo. Prayers of joy and gratitude, Susan. Spirit of life and love, God of many names and beyond all naming, source of all. We offer gratitude for our togetherness and companions on the journey. We ask for patience and for grace with those companions and with ourselves when things get difficult. Above all, we ask not to fast forward, for help remaining present, and to wisely discern which of the desires of our hearts promote love for all people. We ask these things for ourselves, for those we love, and for those we do not yet love. Amen. Where you go, I will go, beloved. Where you go, I will go. Where you go, I will go, beloved. invite our children and youth to the RE wing for our summer program, which is different and exciting, and you'll learn more about it when you go. Sing them out. Go in peace, go in love, go in joy. Go in peace, go in peace, go in peace, amen, amen. Go in love, go in love, go in love, amen, amen. Go in joy, go in joy, go in joy, amen, amen. So these desire paths show not only shortcuts, but they're also evidence of population movement and land use. The Guardian says because they often formed in areas where there are no pavements, they can be seen to indicate the yearning of those wishing to walk, a way for city dwellers to write back to city planners, giving feedback with their feet. It's this idea that led one academic journal to describe them as a record of civil disobedience. In The History of Walking, a book called Wanderlust by Rebecca Solnit, she says, walking is a mode of making the world as well as being in it. The possibility and the unruliness of these desire paths are speaking back to the built environment and demanding integration into it, like we saw in the picture of that path becoming paved. We can, through this lens, understand all sorts of social change as a kind of desire path. First, people long for something, and then they build a world that can accommodate at least some of those desires. And the building, the wearing down of those new paths are always disruptive in some way. It is Pride Month, after all, though the Greensboro Pride celebration is blessedly when it's not quite so hot in the fall. Think of Pride beginning as a riot, the bricks thrown into the windows of police cars by those who were sick of being hunted. The desire was to be free, but the built environment was so hostile to it that massive disruption took hold. But you can think also of those desire paths which do not produce such health and such vibrant life. The kinds of desire paths that wear down hillsides where we tread where we shouldn't. We walk over these teeny tiny plants trying to reseed themselves. How often have you seen trails blocked off for forest restoration or things like that? Because we need to be instructed to tread lightly, to move away from the damage that we might cause. This is another kind of civil disobedience. UUs talk about civil disobedience in glowing terms, but of course there are other kinds that we're not so glowing about. The history of what's called the white lash during Reconstruction, where more and more black, at least men, had access to the vote, could hold political office, and the violence and the rioting from white people to change it back. The storming of the Capitol several years ago, these are also kinds of civil disobedience, kinds of desire paths. Not all uprisings are for the purpose of the freedom of all people. The people who fought desperately against the integration of public schools loved their children just as surely as you love yours. Not all of these kinds of uprisings are for the freedom to love, freedom to live, freedom to dream, freedom to rest, freedom to take on meaningful work, freedom to choose to have children or not, freedom to marry or not. Some of these desires are for freedom from caring about other people, freedom from following rules, the freedom from being told what to do by anyone at all, the freedom from paying taxes, though surely you drive on roads, the freedom from people, this one's harder to say, people in power longing for the freedom from having to share. You know what I'm saying? That's a bad sentence, but you know what I mean. White people's freedom from black people holding political office or living their lives. Straight people's freedom from having to see or deal with or think about any LGBTQ people. Freedom to climb up the mountain is not the same as freedom from having to use the paths provided for its safe use for the health of the plants and the dirt and all of us. So this is complicated, right? Because you have the built environment, which does not and cannot contain the magnitude of our desires and the shape of our lives. And then important diversions from the paths laid out before us, some of which promote love and freedom for all people, and some of which are destructive to our living and to the thriving of the earth. Add to this, of course, that so much religious instruction, most especially in our context, so much Christian religious instruction has built itself on denial of desire and the narrowing of paths of life. The built environment does not hold all of our complexities and the fullness of our lives, and yet to stray from it can hurt. Here's a desire path, a shortcut I notice myself taking that I probably ought not. It's an election year, and I have certain emotional pathways that I am really prepared to go down. I'm prepared to stress. I'm prepared to wag my finger at everybody who I think is stressing too much. I'm prepared to wring my hands and judge everyone for not making enough phone calls or whatever. Prepared to excoriate and bemoan and catastrophize. Prepared to despair and then probably decide to knock some doors and, at least in my mind, shame everybody who's not knocking doors. These are shortcuts that I maybe ought not take. I wonder if there are shortcuts, if there are desire paths in your lives that you're seeing, they're well trod, and you're wondering, is that the path I should walk this time? On the other hand, so much of our social built environment, the scripts laid out before us that you should get married, you should have children, you should have some sort of job mostly during the day that pays you enough to live on, you should like it or at least not complain, you should do it until you retire, and then once you're retired, you should help with your grandkids and enjoy your life and not bother anybody really until you die. No? I'm not recommending this, I'm just saying, isn't this a story that so many of us have inherited about what our lives ought to be? And yet these are not always the shape of our lives, and not always the shape for your life that you long for. And maybe you are lucky enough that some of the desire paths outside this built environment have been trod before you by people who, if they're not going on the concrete road, have at least worn down the grass enough for you to follow securely and joyfully. And maybe you are the first on such a desire path. Maybe you are the one contemplating the concrete in front of you and the grass on the side and wondering which route you will take and how to tell. How to tell if it's loving to yourself, this departure. How to tell if it's destructive for you or for the world around you. I have no instruction for you about the paths, except to say that when you're literally in the woods, use the switchbacks. But other than that, I have no instruction for you for your life paths. I have an offering for your wayfinding. Go slow. Grow in relationship. Reroute if necessary. Enjoy the possibility unfolding around you. I know of another UU congregation with a historic cemetery as part of their church property, somewhere in New England. And they had issues in their neighborhood because people were using the cemetery as a dog park. So what were they going to do about that? This congregation was developing their consciousness about racism and about police violence, so they were loath to call the cops about dog poop. Frankly, no one's getting hurt, so they felt like incurring the possible risk of violence was not acceptable. It is not the most loving way to treat the cops like the sort of manager of everybody or the principal's office. But so what was the loving way? Were they going to do nothing? Their volunteers were kind of tired of picking up dog poop, frankly, and had some feelings about picking up dog poop from graves. Another group of people felt that primarily the role of the church is to be in relationship with and in service to the flourishing of the people in the neighborhood where it sits. And increasingly, public places where people can be for free are disappearing from our lives. We're lonelier, we're more isolated, we're less connected, we spend more time in cars, we spend more time alone, so they didn't want to make that worse. They figured people who might never come inside their church building could still benefit from the church presence in their neighborhood, and if this was a ministry they could offer to the community, why not? So here's what they did. Inside the cemetery, in a corner of it, they built a little dog park. And this is right in line with modern trail design attempts that take human behavior into account, using persuasive outreach and a little physical instruction rather than punishments or fines or rules. Some people had suggested installing security cameras and seeing who it was, who's letting their dogs go. Then what were they going to do? Track them down? So this creation of a dog park in the cemetery of a church is right in line with what the process theologians claim about the nature of God. Process theology claims that the divine is co-creating with humanity, that the divine is the creative and persuasive power at the heart of life which entices, but does not coerce or punish or fine. I love that hymn, "Come Thou Fount of Every Blessing. Tune our hearts to sing Thy grace." We can think of the divine as a frequency and our attempts to seek it as like our own inner tuning fork. So the way that this church understands to honor the dead and their historic cemetery and fulfill their mission is to interact with the needs of life, to persuade through some little signs and a little fenced-off area away from the graves to transform part of that cemetery into a space of joy and connection and freedom to be. They didn't make a decision quickly. And I know this because I'm in a Facebook group with the minister of this congregation, and there was like so much discussion over like a year about what to do about the dog poop in the cemetery problem. So they went slow. They went slow. And they grew in relationship to their neighbors. Instead of putting up security cameras, instead of fussing and controlling and panicking and fighting, they reflected on their purpose and they got to know their neighbors. They grew in relationship. Some people who were fully just let the dogs use it grew in relationship to the meaning of the historic cemetery, to communion with the dead. Some who were fully on the side of protect the cemetery at all costs grew in relationship to the dog people and the neighbors and the pursuit of joy and connection and a place to be for free. They rerouted, if necessary, a little bit. I mean, of course, first they put up signs that said, please don't let your dogs play in here, and those didn't work. So they rerouted. And now they are enjoying the possibility unfolding around them. People who may or may not ever walk through the doors of the congregation, benefiting from a safe and public place to be. Once I heard our own Carol Webb talking about turning up the volume on God radio and turning down the volume on anxiety radio. She was talking about her spiritual practice and what helped her deal with something or other. And that makes a lot of sense to me. I mean, I love that this great, big, loving force at the heart of life that holds it all together is a certain frequency. And we're out here just trying to tune our hearts and sing along. Aforementioned Carol Webb and Carrie Helton have been teaching a course on transforming hearts. It's a class specifically designed to help congregations become more welcoming and more competent in welcoming trans and non-binary people. And it's a lot of pronoun practice. It's a lot of those of you who are there. Tell me if I have this right. That you're like, I care a lot. I have less information and less practice than I might want, and so this class is a safe place to learn and to practice and to develop some new pathways, especially with like pronouns and stuff like that. Is that right? Anybody who went? Does that sound like a good approximation? Yeah, that's part of it? Great. Tell me more about it later. And this is part of it too. This is how we tune our hearts to care, tune our hearts to love. Go slow. Grow in relationship. Reroute if necessary. Practice some rerouting if you need a little practice. And enjoy the possibility unfolding around you. Amen. Amen. We rise in body or in spirit for our hymn number 131, Love Will Guide Us.
Open side, will lead the way.
One of the ministries of this church is our Ministers' Discretionary Fund, which is available to anyone in a tough spot. We can help with medical bills, rent, groceries, and other needs. Reverend Sadie's email and phone number are on the back of your order of service, or you can contact the church through our website. Our offering this month is split with the All Souls Natural Burial Association. This spring, we have buried many of our beloved members there, sending them simply back to the earth. Natural burial allows the remains of the deceased to return to nature with minimal negative impact on the natural ecosystem. Our mission is to provide an opportunity for environmentally minded people to return to the earth and replenish its nutrients. If you'd like to make a contribution, you can do so in the link in the description of this video, or you can text GIVE to the number in your order of service. You can also mail a check. Ushers will come forward to collect the offering, which will now be gratefully received. From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share, and by this we live. Will you join me in our chalice extinguishing words? We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
If you're online and you'd like to get more connected, click the link in the description of this video, fill out the contact form on our website. If you're in person, fill out the online form at the visitors table or later at your convenience, and stick around after worship for adult religious exploration led by Marie Hauk today on compassionate communication. Our new member class will be in the library. You can join me and Carrie Helton after you've gotten your coffee and your cake, focusing on religious, nope, it's not that. It's your spiritual journey. Focusing on your spiritual journey. Go slow, grow in relationship, reroute if necessary, and enjoy the unfolding possibility all around you. Go in peace. Rise in body or in spirit for our benediction hymn from this house.
We will go.
Yeah.